Hello, my loves. Synchronicity brought you here, and if you don't know what that means, it's okay. You were meant to hear this message. That's truly all it really means. But guys, today's a very special video for me and for many others because it has to do a lot with healing and our parents. Right? The root cause. And then it gets deeper than that, but the root cause for a lot of the things that and this is not to blame or shame anyone. I'm just saying the energy behind what keeps people and spirits in cycles and trauma and what we call generational like curses and whatever, right? So this video is specifically for the parents. So if you're a parent, doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter how old you could be, 50, 60, 80, you could be 15, I know, like 18, 20, 25, it doesn't matter. Right? Because you have a huge or have had a huge responsibility in this world, and that is to birth and guide other beings in this realm. And that is not an easy job. That is not. So again, take the blame, take the guilt, take the shame out of this entire video. If you go there, it's okay, because that is just your trauma talking, or the trauma, right? Not identifying with these experiences and saying this is who I am now, and this is why I'm making this video, guys. Because I was sitting there and it came to me, Spirit let me know the children that are hurting the most are the parents. So if you're a parent, you are hurting, and I know that. Okay, because here's the thing, guys, a lot of you have not had the opportunity to validate what you experienced as a child. Okay, a lot of you didn't have the level of awareness or the guidance, just like your children, right? But that's why we're getting back to you, because this is where it starts with you. And it's never too late to heal. And it's never too late. Never. I don't give a fuck if you're like 80 years old right now. It's never too late to heal from these wounds that continuously inflict, and continuously sabotage your life. And it's never too late to change your life around. And why this is so important, guys, is because a lot of your children are hurting. A lot of your children, again, not to blame you, but because whenever you are unhealed, you inflict pain onto others. You project, right? And a lot of the children that I've spoken to and experienced myself, there's a lot of projection growing up. A lot of the same cycles were projected onto us because you were also like projected upon as well through your parents, who are your children's grandparents. More than likely, if not both of them, then one of them, or somewhere in the family dynamic, guys. And that's the thing. It's like, okay, like, your children are here as karmic healers to wake up and be like, no more, but they need you. They cannot do this alone without you. Okay? Look, I know that you've gone through a lot. I know that there's been so much trauma, whether it was sexual abuse, domestic abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, all of that is valid. And maybe you didn't get the opportunity to truly feel it because you were told to be strong, or you were hit if you showed emotion, or you were too busy helping your parents work and take care of especially if you're the oldest one. If you're the oldest one from your siblings, guys, yeah, that's a lot. That's a huge response. It's like you're a secondary parent. But it doesn't matter, right? Because here's the thing, like, we're at this point now where it's like, okay, you've been like this for this long, and I know you're not happy, and I know you're escaping, whether it is through work or through cleaning or through drinking or through anger or whatever it is for you, and that's okay, guys. But here's the thing, it's time to shift that. You've been an adult for far too long. You didn't get the childhood you deserved, or the childhood that, that you wanted. I know that. You had to probably grow up fast. You had to probably learn how to take care of yourself. You had to probably learn how to, there's so many factors, there's so many infinite reasons behind why this trauma is still lingering, these stories that keep replaying, and not just in your life, but in your children's life as well. And your children don't hate you. Your children don't, they're just confused. A lot of them have so many questions. Why are you like this? Why do you scream at me without speaking to me first? Why? Because you're still a child. Your inner child is still screaming for your attention. Your inner child still is hurting. You're literally coming from that place of like, you know, when children are just like constantly complaining because they want your attention, or they're just like constantly in your face. You're like, that is you guys. We're just like really big. We're just like children in big bodies, right? But that's what I'm saying, guys. Your experiences had a purpose, because it built you to this strong individual, this like powerful example of what it means to like go through all of that and still push through and still wake up and take care of what needs to be taken care of. Then your husband or your boyfriend and your family, your entire family, or your girlfriend or your wife, like, or if you're single, even more so. Even if your children are old enough, like, to take care of themselves, there's, you know, you're still a parent at the end of the day. So you've been an adult for far too long, and it's now time for you to step back into being a child again, guys. It's never too late to connect back to your inner child. And what does that mean? A child, just look at your children. Think about when your children were little, right? Very direct, very carefree, very free-spirited, very curious. You still have that in you, because your inner child is constantly speaking into you, but it's speaking from a place of pain. All right, so it's time for you to be a child again. It's time, especially if your children are old enough, right, to take care of themselves. Even if not, though, right? It's time for you to go back in time and be a child again, and validate those emotions for that child. And what does it mean to validate, guys? To validate means to allow, to give yourself permission, or give something permission to be felt and experienced, to exist. So whatever happened in your past when you were a child, know that it was not okay. Know that it was not okay to have been abused, to have been yelled at for no reason, to have been blamed for no reason. And know that your parents also loved you very much, or maybe they weren't there. Again, don't think that what you experienced was this when it's still affecting you. You know it wasn't this. I know you might laugh it off, or suppress it, or repress it, or, you know, try not to think about it, but it keeps coming up because you're making it like this, when in reality it really, really affected you deep inside. It's okay to be angry. You know, it's okay to be confused as well. It's okay to be whatever you wanted, like whatever it was that you felt then. It's okay to be sad, to cry, to be pissed, to like let it out. But that's a thing. In order for that emotion and that energy and that trauma to flow out and move, and for you to move on from that space, for you to travel out of this containment, out of this jail cell, right? In order for you to do that, you have to first accept and recognize that that's what's happening. Like, that something still needs to be felt, because you still need to feel that experience 100%. You couldn't do it then, but you can do it now. That emotion, whether that was sadness, pain, anger, guilt, all of that, feeling that 100%. And it's never too late to ask the questions, guys. Even if your parents are like 100 or 80, it's never too late to have these conversations. If there is something that happened that you still want to know, you know, there's answers that you need, or needing to move on, or just expressing your voice in general is what may free you, guys. And it's never too late, and that's a big message. It's never too late to confront your fears. It's never too late to go back into the past and to allow that inner child to allow your child self to validate those emotions in order to truly let them go. But you can't let something go if it's still like piercing through you, and you're pretending, or you're thinking that being strong means to just like feel it and breathe and like leave it there anyway, like just go through life with this knife in your heart. But it's like going in there and just feeling it as you pull it out, feeling it, crying, screaming, giving yourself days, maybe weeks to feel it, to truly feel it, until it's like it's out. And it's not in one moment to the next thing, it's a process. But your children want to help you. Your children need you still, even if they're 30, 40 years old, 80 years old. That means you would be like 200. Well, anyway, but you know what I mean. If they're 25, 30, like it doesn't matter, 6, 5, especially if they're even younger, like babies, like children, you know, it's never too late. But they can't break this cycle without you. I mean, they can, but we're here together, and they're your children for a reason. You guys chose one another for a reason. For a lot of you who are parents, you're like, you may be closed off to your emotions, right? And if you're closed off to your emotions, you're gonna be closed off to your children's emotions. You're not gonna understand them really well. You're not gonna get why they say or what they do. You're just gonna see it on a surface level, but you're not going to, you know what I'm saying, like see beyond it. Because them screaming and complaining or getting bad grades, which the school system's rigged anyway, but you know, is a cry for attention for something deeper. But you may just be looking at it as a surface level, but it's deeper. But because you haven't gone deeper with yourself, and that is okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Like, that's like, keep that in your head as I keep going. It's okay, it's okay. Because a lot of children don't feel connected to their parents. They know you love them, but maybe they weren't shown. And it's never too late, right? But again, how can a child ask of this of their parent if their parent or their parents don't know how to give it to themselves, don't know how to forgive themselves, don't know how to move on from these traumas? And that's okay, because that's why I'm here. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about ways that you can heal and validate your emotions as a parent, right? But you know, learning how to forgive yourself, how to let go of the guilt and shame, how to give you that inner child the freedom to feel that sadness, that pain, that trauma, whatever it was, and then to learn how to alchemize that pain, not replace it, not replace the pain, but alchemize that pain. What does alchemize mean? Like, transform that pain, transmute that pain. It's like art, right? But the art of emotions, the art of thoughts is something we all can do, and something that literally will help not just you, but lineages going forward. Like just like you know, your children, your children's children, their children's children, and it's just like, and it goes even beyond that. It's like spiritual. You help other spirits out of purgatory, like out of their own jail cell, out of being stuck between worlds. You create a portal for them to travel through and finally break free. But again, like, starting with you. A lot of parents are overworked. A lot of parents are, even if they're not overworked, they're lost. And it's okay if you're one of them. But this is why I'm making this video from a place of all the children. Because we love you and we care for you, and all we want is to see you happy. No, it doesn't matter how old you are, you know, oh, I'm this old so I can't, or no. Healing isn't, there's not a limit to healing. But your children need you. But most importantly, you need you. Your inner child needs you. Happiness is not external. Happiness matches the internal. But again, if you're not happy, if you're miserable, if you're in pain, that's okay. And it's time for you to really feel that pain and that energy in order to let it go. So guys, this is just a very short video to bring awareness to the fact that if you're a child and you're listening to this, your parents, if they've yelled at you, projected onto you growing up, still do judge you or ridicule you, laugh at you, know that they're in so much pain and they just don't know what to do with it. Doesn't excuse their behavior. It doesn't mean to go back into, if your parents are toxic, they're toxic, and you need to do what you got to do for yourself. And that may involve detachment physically sometimes, and that's okay as well. But know that your parents didn't have a guidance system just like you. They didn't have the internet, more than likely. They didn't have the resources or the spirituality or that, you know what I mean? So learn to detach from your parents' energy. Learn to detach from your parents. It's like, learn to detach from the surface level of their actions and their words and observe it from a deeper place. They're just like really, really big children in adult bodies, but they're in pain, and they're so asleep to it that they don't know, like they can't distinguish or decipher energy anymore. It's like they believe their trauma and these experiences and these emotions. Okay, so in order for children to also heal, it's important that we as children learn to detach from their experiences, even if it did trickle into your experiences, but to not attach them to the point where you feel like you need to save your parents or you need to do something more than what you've already been doing, which is healing yourself. And that's key. It's mainly about healing yourself because it's about you, right? Because when you're the example, that's how things really do shift and change, right? Why do you think we have reviews? So be patient with your parents on their healing journey. And that doesn't mean if it's too toxic for you to be involved, that's okay. There's even a greater more on, not less on in that. And that's okay. So guys, I will be making more videos about this for the parents, for you, on how to validate those emotions, how to truly move on and forgive yourself and others from your past in regards to your upbringing. Okay, so sending you so much love, and again, don't blame, shame, or hate yourself, or be angry, or feel like you weren't a good parent, or that you weren't. It's okay, whatever it is, it's fine, because at the end of the day, you will still have an opportunity and chance to make it right, if not for them, but for yourself.